verses 1 through 6. And the word says, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Amen. You guys can be seated. So, we're going to talk tonight from the topic of following the shepherd. Following the shepherd. Now, verse number 1 says, the Lord is my shepherd. And the first thing that I really want to do tonight is we have to get an understanding of this analogy, this whole analogy that David is making in this psalm. Because understanding kind of where this is going and what it means is really going to be key for us to see the vision and see the picture and understand how it relates. So, first of all, what is a shepherd? A shepherd is a person whose job it is to take care of the sheep. And so, God being the shepherd, that is, and us being the sheep. So we have to get that. So God is the shepherd, the Lord is the shepherd. It's his job to take care of the sheep. And a shepherd in the natural has certain responsibilities and certain duties that they are responsible for when it comes to taking care of the sheep. Number one, they're responsible for the safety and the welfare of the sheep. So they provide leadership. They lead the sheep. Now we're talking about an actual shepherd and actual sheep right now. So they lead the sheep. They make sure that the sheep are in a safe place. They make sure that the sheep have provision. Not only that the sheep have food, but they're in the right place for whatever it is that they need, whether it be food, whether it be water, and not only food, but what is good for the sheep. And not only do they lead, but they also watch. So as the sheep are grazing in the pasture, the shepherd is looking out for poisonous things, poisonous plants, stuff that the sheep shouldn't eat, predators that could be lurking around. So this is what the shepherd is doing. So number two, what they do is they protect the sheep from predators. And so, of course, common sense, they're going to protect the sheep from being attacked by a predator. But not only is the shepherd going to protect the sheep from being attacked by a predator, but this got me. What happens is, because when I was reading and studying this, you would think, okay, a wolf is going to eat the sheep and all of these other vicious animals, but it said one of the most dangerous predators to a sheep is actually a dog. And the reason why, this is going to bless you, the reason why is because the dogs will literally chase the sheep to exhaustion, causing the abortion of the lambs. And now when we think about abortion, we think about something that's intentional. But although that's true with humans, that's not really the case when it comes to the sheep. Abortion actually means premature birth of the baby. Premature birth of the lamb. And so while the predator is chasing the sheep and the sheep is carrying this baby, the sheep's body gets so tired and so stressed from running that it causes the sheep to go into premature labor. And so, in the same way, it's like when we have put it in the sense of us and God being our shepherd and we being the sheep, it's like we have the enemy after us and we're carrying the seed of the promise of God. And so we're busy trying to do it ourselves. We're busy trying to make it on our own and do our own thing. And we're getting tired and we're getting worn down and we're getting weary, and it's causing us to give birth prematurely. When what we should be doing is following God, following the shepherd, and leaning on him and trusting his protection and trusting his timing. Amen. So a third thing that a duty of the shepherd is regarding the sheep's health and their injuries. So the shepherd will tend to their injuries, give medical treatment, give vaccines, whatever it is that they need. And when it's birthing season, they also frequently check on the female sheep and assist in any type of difficulties that they're having while they're delivering these lambs. And then the fourth duty of a shepherd is shearing. And it seems like shearing is when they cut all the wool off. And it seemed like it was, something, irrelevant to me. Initially, I'm like, okay, shearing, I'm not really going to put that in. But then when I was praying about it and God started showing me so many things that we're going to have to talk about shearing. Now, the purpose of why do we shear the sheep? The purpose of shearing, which, again, shaving the wool off, is to rid the sheep of excess. And excess is, the meaning of excess is more than what's necessary, more than what's permitted, more than what's desired. So, excess is, they consider this wool at some point to be excess. For sheep, it's wool. For us, our excess is not wool. Our excess is other things. So it could be people, it could be relationships, it could be situations, it could be possessions, tangible things, material things, and so on. But how does shearing actually help the sheep? Number one, it prevents overheating and it keeps the sheep cool. And so when it's hot, it's like you got all this wool piled up on the sheep and it can overheat. And it's just kind of like us putting on this big old coat, this winter coat, and then sitting outside in 100-degree weather. Whatever would happen to us or however we will feel, this is what these sheep are going through and why the shepherd has to shear the sheep. And so in our situations, it's like when we are in a situation where it's hot, or say we're in a situation where there's a trial or the fire is being turned up, so to speak. The lack of excess keeps things from getting worse in our lives. And it's like, okay, have you ever been in like a hard situation? And so it's like frivolous things, people who don't need to be in your life, situations you should have never been in. All of that stuff, it aggravates the main issue. So you have all this excess, all these excess connections, all these excess things going on, again, that we was never supposed to be involved in. It's already hot. We're already going through trials. We're already going through tests. There's already fire. And then on top of that, we have all this excess stuff around us. And so, again, the shearing, it keeps us cool, gives us room to breathe. For us to focus on the main issue and what's really important. So that was number one, which is overheating. Number two, a reason why the sheep need to be sheared is that it prevents infestation. So all of the wool provides an excellent environment for parasites to infest these sheep. And so the shepherd has to remove the covering, so to speak, so that the parasites can't breed and can't fester. So we're cutting all this wool off because it's just making a great bed and a great situation for all these parasites to fester. And there's something I learned today there's something called fly strike. And this is something that happens to sheep. And it's when the flies, this is nasty, but it's when the flies, just to warn you, lay the eggs on the sheep. The eggs hatch, and then the maggots basically chew their way into the sheep's skin, which of course causes more issue, causes more infection, and actually can be fatal. So in the same way, God has to remove the excess in our lives to prevent us from creating an environment for parasites to breed. What are the parasites in our lives? The parasites, by definition, parasites are things that drain the life and the nutrients out of whatever it is it's attached to. Whatever this parasite is attached to, it drains it. It sucks out the nutrient. It sucks you dry and gives absolutely nothing in return. So, whatever it is that's draining you, whatever it is that's killing you, whatever it is that's hindering the plan of God for your life, sometimes the shepherd has to remove the excess. So these things and people no longer have an environment to breathe in. So while we're, we a lot of times we want to keep the wool, we want to keep everybody around us, we want to keep all these situations going, while God is trying to shear us. He is trying to free us from all of these things, all of these people, all of these situations. He's trying to cut them off. He's trying to cut them away. But we're trying to keep it on. While he's saying, listen, this is breeding parasites. All these people, he said, this is the reason why. But yet, so we have to allow the shearing. Another reason why we have to shear is because it slows us down. The wool slows the sheep down. They have all this wool that's building up, and it gets to a point where they cannot move the way that they need to move because it's a weight, and the weight becomes a hindrance. And again, in the same way, we have to be sheared. Why? Because all of this stuff is building up. All of this stuff is weighing us down. And again, God is trying to remove it so that we can move the way that we need to move. So that we are not hindered, so that we are no longer being slowed down, but that we can function and operate freely in the way that he wants us to. Amen. And so, the last reason why we have to be sheared. Shearing prevents contamination of the new wool. So, we have this wool that we already had on. It's dirty. All kind of dirt in it, all kind of stuff that we done picked up, rolling around in the grass. This is what the sheep are doing. They don't live in a house, they live outside. So it's wet, it's mud, they have all type of stuff on this wool. So in order for the new wool to come in and not be dirty and not be contaminated, they have to be sheared. And in the same way in our lives, we have to put off the old so that the new will not be contaminated. And Pastor just said that in prayer. We don't put old wine in the old wineskin. And it's the same concept. Cutting off of the old so that the new will not be contaminated. So again, God is the shepherd, we're the sheep. As the shepherd, this is the duties. And so, verse 1 again says, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. And so, because we have not only a shepherd, but our shepherd is God. All power, all knowing, God of the universe. So, the next line says, I shall not want. In other words, there's nothing else that we need. We have somebody watching us. We have somebody guiding us, providing for us, caring for us, providing nourishment for us. The sheep have to follow the shepherd. Sheep in the natural. The sheep have to trust why they are where they are. The sheep have to trust why the shepherd is going the way that he's going. If you just think about sheep in a pasture, because you'll have to see this to get it. You have to think about sheep in a pasture, and they have their shepherd. The sheep could easily decide, okay, I don't like this environment, I don't like this path, I don't like this route. But we have to realize that we're following somebody whose job it is to take care of us. And so in the same way, we have to realize that we're following God. God, it's his job to take care of us. As our shepherd, it's his job to protect us. It's his job to do all of these things in a spiritual sense and in a natural sense that I said about the sheep in the natural. And so that's why, again, and Pastor prayed this already, Jesus tells his disciples, after he tells them, don't worry about what you're going to eat, don't worry about what you're going to drink, what you're going to wear, he says, fear not, little flock. He goes right into the sheep and the shepherd. Fear not, little flock, for it's your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. In other words, he takes pleasure in taking care of us. So he's going to make sure that everything that entails, whatever that entails, he's going to provide it for us. So again, that should not be our focus. We just prayed about it. Pastor already taught messages about it. That should not be our focus. And I shall not want. Want doesn't mean what we want. Want means we are not going to lack. So although we might desire things on this earth, we might not receive all of those unless it's according to his will. But at the same time, we're not going to lack the things that we do need to operate in his will. Amen. Verse 2 says, he makes me lie down in green pastures. Green pastures, real quick, represents food. It represents rest. It represents peace. It represents safety. And it's not just any grass. That the Hebrew word for this is not just any grass. It is tender grass. Grass that is perfect for nourishing the sheep. It's not the kind of grass that's kind of old and dried up and you're ready to mow the grass. It's the perfect grass for eating. So not only are you resting, but you're resting in a place where you are fully satisfied and content with the provision that God is providing for you. So in the same way, God causes us to rest in the place of his provision. He causes us to rest in the place of his safety. He causes us to rest in that place of his peace as our shepherd. And unlike the sheep, it doesn't have to actually mean that our situation looks like a green pasture. It can, but it doesn't have to. But as long as he's our source, then even inwardly we have everything that we need to be content. Amen. So then it goes on to say, he leads me beside still waters. Still waters represents, real quick, refreshment, quiet, gentleness. And so when it comes to the sheep, this represents how the shepherd would take the sheep to a calm stream, and he would have them drink from the calm stream, which is the still waters, rather than rushing waters, which are not only scary, they're noisy, and they're dangerous because the sheep can fall in and easily get swept away. And so in the same way, at times God leads us to places of refreshing peace. There's rushing streams basically all around us in the world. Things we get caught up in, things we get lost in, the cares of the world, whatever it is we get. Things move so quickly, we don't even really have time to take it in. But then God leads us back to the place, and he reminds us, even if there's not outward peace, again, he leads us to that place of inner peace, where our emotions are not in a place of turmoil, but we can be ministered to in a gentle way, the same way that a shepherd would minister to the sheep by taking them to calm waters. And so at those times, the word also says that he restores my soul. And that really blessed me because the shepherd provides restoration for the sheep. And for definitions of restoration. I'm expecting just one thing, but there's so many aspects to restoration. One is actually refreshing, which is to give new strength. So the shepherd refreshes. He gives new strength. When we're weary, he gives us grace to continue to move and press forward. Another one is to return. When you restore, you return what was taken. And so, in the same way, whatever it is that's lost, God can return those things to us. Another one is repair. And he actually fixes what's damaged. Return something to a working order. Now, returning something to a working order, that doesn't mean it's perfect, but it's able to serve the purpose. And then the last one is renovate. Now, renovating something, again, we're talking about restoring, having our souls restored. Renovating something can be returning something to its former or original condition, but it can also be returning something to a better state, a better state. So what God showed me right here is that sometimes we aren't going to be exactly how we were before, and there's nothing wrong with that. Because some of us waste a lot of time trying to get back to a place that we are never going to be again. We waste time looking at what was, and we're trying to go back to a certain place. When God is saying that he's basically trying to renovate. He's trying to not take you back to what you were or restore you back to what you were, but he's trying to do something and take you into a better state. He's trying to build something better out of what he has. And so verse 3 says, he leads me in paths of righteousness. And the question here is, why do sheep need a shepherd? Why do sheep need a shepherd? God basically knows the path that we need to be on. So when we follow him, there's no wandering off to the things that's going to lead us into ruin. Sheep, now I'm not going to talk bad about sheep. They say that sheep are not very smart. They may be smart, they may not be, but they definitely do have some tendencies and some characteristics that, okay, you can see why they need to be supervised. You can see why they need a shepherd. Number one, they cannot protect themselves. Sheep have basically one defense. Their only defense is unity, which is a good thing, but this is all they have. And so if the predator is not discouraged by the unity, they really don't have a significant defense. And so in the same way, it's like we have each other to lean and depend on, but even with each other, we need God in the mix in order to have a successful defense against the things that come against us. We need, just like the word says, we need the armor of God. We can't really defend ourselves by ourselves. We can't, even when we come together, if we don't have God in the midst, we really don't have a defense. So, secondly, the sheep do not know the destination. They don't know where they're going. They don't know where they're supposed to be ending up at. And so, it's like the sheep cannot fathom. They're not smart enough to figure out, okay, where is the shepherd? What is the shepherd doing? Where is he taking us? It's beyond their comprehension. It's something that they cannot understand. So they themselves, they don't have the capacity to make the right decision on their own that's going to lead them to the end goal. So for the sheep, the only significant decision that they can make is to follow the shepherd. They can't think it through on their own. They can't figure it out on their own. They're not smart enough to do that. So they have to make this one decision, which is pivotal for their well-being and their life, and that is, okay, we're going to follow this shepherd. And that's it. Well, in the same way, just like Pastor been saying lately, it's not up to us to know everything. And I'm not saying that we're stupid, but it's not up to us to know everything. The word promises not that we're going to know everything, not that we're going to understand everything, But God said that he's going to give us wisdom. He's going to give us guidance. He's going to give us direction if we trust him and don't trust ourselves. So, another thing that happens to sheep, why they need a shepherd, they get lost. They forget their way. And so, they can easily wander off course, wander off the path, and they need somebody to say, hey, listen, you kind of went left. You get back on the track. You get back on you're going off in the woods, come back over here. They need somebody to keep them going in the right direction. Again, in the same way, God keeps us on track with his word. He keeps us on track with what we're supposed to, the character that we're supposed to have, and the steps that we're supposed to make. And then finally, sheep can be self-destructive. They put themselves in danger in so many ways. Because, again, they don't know. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know where they're supposed to go. They know one thing. They need to follow the shepherd. Otherwise, they do. So, in the same way, do we not do things that sabotage our own well-being at times? Sometimes we get in relationships that we're not supposed to be in, friendships that we're not supposed to be in. We take the wrong job. We might move to the wrong place. We might stay in the wrong place when we need to move. We respond in ways we shouldn't respond, and it leads to all type of consequences. So we have a way of sabotaging ourselves as well. And the scripture in Proverbs 19:3, it says people ruin their lives by their own foolishness. And the rest of it says, and then they get angry at the Lord. People ruin their lives by their own foolishness, and then they get angry at the Lord. But the point of me mentioning that is, we have a tendency to sabotage ourselves. Not to say again that we're not intelligent, but without the Spirit, without the shepherd, without being led, we don't have spiritual intelligence. We don't have spiritual intelligence. We don't know the mind and will of God. So we might as well just be, just like the sheep might lack the natural intelligence, we lack the spiritual intelligence. So if we're not following the shepherd, if we don't have the Holy Ghost, we are wandering around, lost, going off the cliff. We over here, with the wolf, like we're just doing any and every. We don't know because we don't have that intelligence to know what's safe. Where is God taking us? Where do we need to be at right now? What do we need to be doing right now? We don't have that without the shepherd. And the reason why he leads us in the right way, verse 3 also says, for his name's sake. Now, ultimately, although sheep, great care is given to the sheep. The utmost care. People keep sheep for their benefit. It's not for the sheep's benefit. So they take excellent care of the sheep, but it's again not so much for the benefit of the sheep, but for the benefit of the person. So in the same way, God intends to get the glory and the benefit out of our lives. So everything we do is not for his glory, but it's not for our glory, but it's for his glory. So whatever he does, the leading us in paths of righteousness, making sure that we stay on the right track, it is so people can see us and glorify God. He keeps us in the right way, and he does all of these things for us so that, again, they see us and they glorify God. So even when we see and experience what we ourselves are going through, that we glorify God. So again, it's ultimately for his glory. It's not for our glory. It's for him to get the glory out of whatever takes place. And so while we're in the green pastures and the still waters and all of the above, so that God can get the glory out of how he cares for us, what he does, the benefits and the results of what he's producing in us, is so he can get the glory. And verse 4 says, even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. And I'm going to stop right there on that one part. Okay, back to the sheep. In some areas where the sheep herding is concerned, there comes a time in the season where the shepherd has to take the sheep to higher ground. The reason why, for safety against the weather, for food, because of this change in the season. So the shepherd has to take the sheep to higher ground. But there's a catch to getting to the higher ground and the provision. It was dangerous to just try to have the sheep climb a mountain and just, okay, we're going to get the higher ground, mountain, higher ground, we're just going to climb the mountain. Because the sheep can't climb the mountain. They're going to fall down. So instead, the sheep were often led on another route. The other route is through the valley. Number one, because that was the only way to get to the destination or the area of provision. Number two is because that's where the streams were, so that they could have something to drink along the way. And so in the same way, and just like we learned and talked about on Sunday, there is somewhere higher that God is trying to take us in the spirit. And there's somewhere higher that he's trying to take us in our lives. And the catch is, we can't just walk up the mountain. We can't just take the easy way. We can't just take the shortest way. We can't just take the direct route there because, again, just learned this on Sunday. Oftentimes, that's not the best way for us. The shortest way and the direct way. We're not ready for it. We're not equipped for it. And so the way that we have to go is the way that builds our character. The way that we have to go is the way that builds our faith. The way that we have to go is the way that provides the exact circumstances we need in order to get where God is taking us. And so we have to walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Why? It builds our character. It builds our faith. It gives us the exact situation. See, he knows what the issue is. Why can't we just walk up the mountain? He knows why. So what it is we have to go through this valley because it gives the exact situation. Think about this, okay? Sheep, flock of sheep and a shepherd. They're going into a dark valley. It's not like the sun, everything is just bright. It's dark. So the sheep are having to trust and depend on this shepherd. So they're walking through this valley. So while this is going on, just like while this is going on in our lives, when we're going through these periods and these places where it's a dark place, where we could be afraid. It's dark, okay? But God knows, okay, we need our character built. We need our faith built. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through this valley, and you're going to have no choice but to trust me. The valley of the shadow of death is dark, is dismal. There's danger, there's peril, and it seems like you just walking into a death sentence. It's really what it seems like. But just like the Lord showed me on Sunday, and I said this, it's not death. It's just the shadow of death. Now, a shadow, and this blessed me, a shadow is a dark area that is produced when something comes between light and the surface. A dark area that's produced when something comes between light and a surface. So if light is shining on something and I come in between it, there's going to be a shadow. And so likewise, let's say that our shepherd is the light. Christ is the light. And so something tries to come between us and the light, it's going to cast a shadow. And so the shadow is going to look exactly like what is trying to come against us. So the shadow is going to look like the enemy. The shadow is going to look like death. and it's going to try to invoke fear in us. But the key is, okay, listen, if you're scared of, say you're scared of lions, or you're scared of snakes, or you're scared of spiders, I don't know what y'all scared of, but whatever it is, but not realizing, you see a shadow of it. You see a shadow of a lion. You see a shadow of a snake. You see a shadow of a spider. Okay, you're going to be scared, not realizing that the shadow cannot do anything to you. The shadow itself can't do anything to you. It's just a representation. It's just a simulation. So whatever the thing is or the situation that has you scared, in other words, it doesn't have any power over you. It doesn't have any power to do anything to you. So instead of running, instead of retreating, instead of turning back or scrambling and trying to get away, trying to stop it, we have to treat it like an exercise. It's like a simulation. And so God is trying to teach us how to trust him. It's just an exercise. It's just a shadow. It's like, you have a simulation. Say you're trying to join the academy or something. You have these simulations, and then there's these people that pop up out of everywhere. You got the they're not. It's not real danger. It's just simulated danger. It's an exercise so that we learn how to respond, so that we learn what we need to do. Well, in the same way, the valley of the shadow of death is not death. It's just a simulation so that, again, we learn how to trust the shepherd. And so that's why the scripture says that even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Now, fear is, the definition of fear, is an unpleasant emotion that's caused by the belief that something or someone is dangerous, is likely to cause pain, or is a threat. So, fear is simply an unpleasant emotion, something that we feel because we perceive that something's dangerous, is going to hurt, is threatening us in some way. So, we have to say, in these situations, we have to say, okay, God, I'm not going to give into the fear, but I'm going to trust you. Why? Because you are there with me. With all the characteristics of a shepherd. He's leading us. He's protecting us. He's providing for us. God has everything under control. All we need to do is just follow him. That's all we need to do. Fear is an emotion. It's a feeling. It's not something solid. It's not something tangible. It's based on our belief. Fear is not something that's external, but it's based on our perception. It's based on what we think this thing is going to do to us. So if somebody thinks that door is going to do something to them, they're going to fear. It's initiated by us. Fear is initiated by us and how we see and we perceive things. So if we think, okay, this situation is going to hurt, this situation is going to do something, that's how we get into that emotion. That's how we get into fear. But if we start to see things the way that we're supposed to see them, if we start seeing things with the right perception, realizing who our shepherd is, then those type of emotions, they dissipate. So we have, again, the shepherd. He's leading the flock down into this dark place. Doesn't mean there's danger, but there's an understanding that, okay, we need to go this way, but I'm going to have to protect them. So we have to understand that as long as we're following God, God has an understanding that, listen, if I'm going to lead them in this place, I'm going to have to protect them in this place. I know where their vulnerabilities are. I know what is down here. He already knows all of that. He already knows the situation in and out, front and back. So he has the understanding. If you think about us, even with our kids, if we don't lead our kids somewhere, Okay, if we know that we're going in a dangerous situation, we're already on the lookout. We're like, okay, you stay right here. You need to be right here. And then we're looking around. Nothing, we don't need nothing to come back here, touch what belongs to us. Well, in the same way, when we go through dangerous situations or when we go through dark situations, it's the same way with God. He's right there. He's leading us. He's protecting us. He already knows the dangers and he's there with us. So that's why the scripture says, I fear no evil, because he's with me, because he already knows. He's already anticipated everything. And I'm almost done. So I was actually led tonight to close out with reading Psalm 91. So if you guys want to stand, I'm just going to read this, and then Pastor can just come after that and give his remarks or whatever he's led to do. Psalm 91 says, He who dwells in the shelter of the Most High will abide in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say to the Lord, my refuge and my fortress, my God in whom I trust. For he will deliver you from the snare of the fowler and from the deadly pestilence. He will cover you with his pinions, and under his wings you will find refuge. His faithfulness is a shield and a buckler. You will not fear the terror of the night, nor the arrow that flies by day, nor the pestilence that stalks in darkness, nor the destruction that wastes at noonday. 1,000 may fall at your side, 10,000 at your right hand, but it will not come near you. You will only look with your eyes and see the recompense of the wicked, because you have made the Lord your dwelling place, the Most High, who is my refuge. No evil shall be allowed to befall you. No plague shall come near your tent, for he will command his angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways. On their hands they will bear you up, lest you strike your foot against a stone. You will tread on the lion and the adder, the young lion and the serpent you will trample underfoot. Because he holds fast to me in love, I will deliver him. I will protect him, because he knows my name. When he calls to me, I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will rescue him and honor him. With a long life I will satisfy him and show him my salvation. Amen.